Before its release 2 years Before its release 2 years ago, I had high hopes for The Division. I loved the thought of an open-world Manhattan. I'm a sucker for post-apocalyptic stories, and I'm also a longtime fan of Tom Clancy games and their tactical combat. So, like some, I was disappointed when I finally played it. Instead of a seamless open world to explore with my friends, I found the skeleton of a game built around an artificial loot grind. What's more, that loot grind wasn't all that rewarding or even fun to begin with. I was completing fetch quests and shooting bullet sponge enemies over and over again. Lastly, I felt as if developer Massive Entertainment had failed to use its premise to good effect. Playing as peacekeeping agents sent into a post-outbreak New York seemed like a springboard for grim storytelling, but here too the game fell flat. Characters were cheesy, and any interesting questions Massive raised were brushed aside in favor of loot and boring reasons to find it. Suffice it to say, I bounced off The Division hard. But of course, the game was a commercial juggernaut. It was the most successful new franchise to date, selling $330 million in its first 5 days, eclipsing Bungie's Destiny by $5 million in the same period. Whatever problems I had with the game didn't seem to register with a huge number of people. And those numbers have only grown. Just 2 weeks ago, Ubisoft announced that The Division had accrued 20 million total players. Much like Ubisoft Studios have done with Rainbow Six Siege and Ghost Recon Wildlands, they've constantly supported The Division in its post-release months. Its popularity has allowed the team to implement continual updates, and those updates have kept increasing the game's popularity. It's a symbiotic relationship that has morphed The Division into something very different than its original form. And of course, just recently, Massive announced it will be showing The Division 2 at E3 this year. A sequel was inevitable for the most successful new franchise of all time, but still, it piqued my curiosity once again. I decided to finally give The Division a second chance, to see how it had changed, to see whether I could embrace it for what it is and not what I want it to be. So, this is my experience with The Division, 2 years and 20 million players later. Let's get the biggest roadblocks out of the way up front. The Division is still a grind. It is not a tactical shooter, its open world is not teeming with memorable characters and revelatory secrets. It is still largely focused on pushing you through a gameplay loop of traveling, shooting, looting, and crafting. It is still Ubisoft's main attempt to rival lifestyle games such as Destiny. But only 2 hours into my recent playthrough, it was apparent just how much more variety there is this time around. In your search for loot, you can hunt down bounties, clear contaminated areas, extract virus samples, and defend allied checkpoints. That's not to mention endgame content such as high-value targets, the wave-based resistance mode, the 4v4 skirmish arena, the randomized underground missions, or server-wide global events. Some of these were paid DLC, while Year 2 expansions were all free updates. The Division is still very much a grind, but in general, that grind is now much more fun.
Water pressure's back to normal. We're good for now. Thanks.
The process is also much more rewarding. Enemies constantly drop items useful for your character rank. As I worked to increase my endgame ranking, I was getting new rewards for everything I did. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't get attached to your favorite loot. In Update 1.3, The Division added the Recalibration Station, allowing you to re-roll item stats to better suit your character. This seemingly minor addition is actually huge. It lets you keep gear with high armor rating without sacrificing the build you're working toward. I can have my cake and eat it too. All in all, The Division does a much better job of letting me play how I want. There are certain activities that will undoubtedly provide better loot drops, but in the long haul, any time I spend with The Division will likely improve my character. There are more ways to get loot, there are more ways to customize my playstyle, and there are more ways to explore this crumbling Manhattan. When it comes to the Division's game world, I'm torn. I agree with many that there is wasted potential here. A diseased New York, perpetually covered in holiday decorations, with warring factions trying to survive, it's a dream premise for many writers. Sadly, that story never really flourishes. Its factions, for instance, have some of the weakest motivations I can imagine. The city's sanitation workers all came together as the flamethrower-toting cleaners. They walked the city, burning everything in sight, people included, hoping to rid the world of the new plague. The Rikers, on the other hand, are all escaped convicts from the infamous Rikers Island prison. They formed beneath a murderous leader, hoping to use their criminal ways to claim New York for their own. If you're thinking this all sounds ham-fisted, I agree. Furthermore, the game had the opportunity to ask questions about whether you and your fellow Division agents are actually the good guys. You're sent in to maintain the government during the collapse, and you're given free rein to kill anyone threatening that agenda. But anytime the Division approaches tougher subject matter, it stumbles, opting instead to justify your actions in service to the greater loot grind.
And I've got a hell of a lot more than good intentions. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it the right way.
All of this being said, though, I am thoroughly impressed by the world design itself. It's not on par with Los Santos or Breath of the Wild's Hyrule, but as far as settings go, Massive's Manhattan is beautiful in its modern desolation. It's also remarkable how well the game manages to fit a third-person, cover-based shooter so fluidly into this world. Each street is a potential ambush point, every alleyway a good sniper's line of sight. Massive's New York comprises a multitude of smaller shooter arenas, so
Yo, what's up? This is King Vox, and I just want to speak more about Diablo. Like, right now, I'm kind of just like heated because this game is a dope game. Like, I love this game. Like, I really do. Like, and I know a lot of other people out there love it too. But it's like the to the extent where it's neglected, it's just ridiculous. Like, so check this out. First of all, my Paragon didn't even transfer over from the season. You know, it's like that moment when it's just disappointing. There's so much stuff. Like, and then like, check this out. So I just got my gems. My gems are here. That's fine. I have 29 days to get all this stuff, right? To get all this stuff out of here. I don't want to get rid of it. What do I do? Do I just keep all the ancients? You know what I mean? It's just very aggravating. You know, the game's been out for what? Like fucking whatever many years. Like, give us more stash. Like, what the hell? Like, allow us to buy stash or do something. Holy shit, Blizzard. Like, I'm just like, and I'm making this video and I'm ranting kind of, you know what I mean? So like, things aren't gonna come out crystal fucking clear or whatever, because I'm kind of heated right now. So I'm gonna ramble a little bit, but I'm gonna try not to for the sake of you guys. But this is just ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do I do? What do I do? Look, I click all this shit. Watch this. Claim to inventory. I'm overburdened. No shit. I got a bunch of shit in my fucking inventory I can't even do anything with. My character slots are filled. Like, what the fuck? And then it's just so aggravating. It really is. Like, I don't care about none of this bullshit. What's the point of even having these presets? Because if I had, you know, 5 presets on every fucking character, the amount of gear wouldn't even be able to be held in my storage. Like, this is just the most ridiculous and stupid fucking thing ever. Like, this fucking game is just so disappointing. You know what? Guys, don't play this game. This is a very bad game. There's a much better game out, and I'll show you guys. Hey, what's up, guys? So, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to try to explain to you guys and show you guys everything that Path of Exile is. Now, I believe Path of Exile's success was based off of Diablo 3's failure to, you know, be a Diablo. you know, and people wanted more Diablo 2 looking Diablo 3 back then, you know, because they were in love with Diablo 2, and Diablo 3 is kind of like, Diablo 3 was almost a standalone game, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying that it wasn't Diablo, because it was. It was a very nice game, but the game has been neglected to the point, well, Chaos Dad anymore. You know, they upgraded. They felt that that was kind of tedious, and they were absolutely
Hey everybody, Joshua Mobley here from IGN.com, and I'm joined by Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks for having me.
All right, we're sitting here, we're playing Path of Exile, which is a top-down action RPG similar to games like Diablo. It's free to play.
That's correct.
100% free to play. Actually, while I've got you here and we're talking about free to play, how exactly, are there microtransactions in this game? How does Grinding Gear Games actually make money?
So there are microtransactions, so they're entirely cosmetic, so we don't sell any advantage in the game. You can't pay for power.
Oh, good to know. That's cool.
And we're using the same business model on both PC and Xbox One. Game is free, expansions are free, and you can buy microtransactions if you want to support it.
Yes, so this game came out on Xbox One just recently.
Yeah, in August.
Correct? Cool. And are there any plans to bring it to something like the Switch or the PS4?
Oh, we're looking into other options, but for the time being, we've just got the Xbox One version.
Cool. And then for the Xbox One version, I'm curious, the UI, do you specifically customize the UI for the platform, similar to like the way Blizzard, when they re-released Diablo 3 on the PlayStation and the Xbox, they kind of redid like the whole UI and this like radial menu kind of thing. Do you guys do that as well, or are you confident in your UI design in that it's good for both platforms?
We've made some big changes to how the combat controls work because it's using a controller, and we have redone the rest of the UI as well to be more appropriate for a controller, but we've tried hard to keep things like the grid-based inventory, for example, which you can see. Jonathan, if you load the inventory up. So this is how the inventory works, nice weighty items, so you really get a sense of space and so on. And we've kept that for the Xbox rather than switching to a list of items.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, so what we're playing right now is the new expansion, the War for the Atlas. So as someone who didn't really play a lot of Path of Exile, I play a lot of games like Diablo, Warframe, Destiny and stuff. Why would someone like me be interested in something like Path of Exile? Clearly this is a genre that I absolutely love. And it's a game that I've dipped into, I think, once before, but it didn't grab me initially. But watching you play, I'm kind of like, man, I kind of want to do this. This seems, pretty fun. I love these kind of games. So for someone like me, what is different about Path of Exile besides being completely free, which is a very attractive thing for a lot of gamers?
So aside from the business model and the fact that we update it with 4 expansions or leagues a year to keep the content rolling in, we the biggest point which people love to compare is character customization. Path of Exile has some deep stuff going on with the amount of character options. So let's have a look at support gems, for example. So we have a skill here, I believe Ice Shot, which by default will fire an Ice Shot. In this case it's firing 2 because this character's earned the ability to fire a second arrow. But there are various support gems we can put on that modify its behavior. So for example, you add multiple projectiles and that will fire more arrows at once. And we have dozens and dozens of these support gems. Chain means that when we hit an enemy, the shots will bounce to other enemies, which we can hopefully illustrate when we find some monsters.
I think I saw some down to the south a little bit. Yeah.
I've been busy clearing them up. So in this case, the shots are going to hit one monster and then chain out to other ones, which works really well when you've got big packs together. There's also the passive skill tree, which Jonathan's in a fight at the moment. This is part of the expansion here where the elder antagonist will suck the life out of a boss in order to make a new one. So
is that what he's doing right now?
Yes, that's correct. So once he's finished his life sucking, you can have a look at the passive skill tree. So there's quite a large web of options here. Now all the character classes share the same tree, and you can travel from one to another part of it, which is kind of like in Magic the Gathering, how you could be playing a green deck, but you could put some blue spells in it as a blue splash. Here, this is a pure dexterity ranger, but she's gone up to the north near where the witch is in an attempt to get some skills from up there. In this case, some critical strike damage ones, I believe.
This reminds me a lot of the Final Fantasy X sphere grid. Was there a lot of was that design influential on this?
This evolved mostly by itself, but I absolutely see the comparison. Having not played Final Fantasy X myself, I look at that and it functions a little bit differently in some key ways.
Right.
Like with this one, you don't personally have a location on the grid. You can expand in any direction, and there's certainly that. For example, Jonathan, could you zoom in on the ascendancy skill thing? We've added many different customization options, like your character gets the ability to choose a subclass that has a much smaller concentrated tree of specific abilities, kind of like a talent tree from a game like World of Warcraft, for example, where as you complete certain difficult challenges, you get the ability to unlock some special points on there. But with character customization, we have hundreds and hundreds of skill gems that can be combined with dozens and dozens of supports. There's 600 unique items, I think 650 soon with this expansion, which have specific preset properties done by the designers, as well as the rare and magic items. They're a lot like games like Diablo, where you get infinite permutations of stuff in there. Even the areas in the game can get properties on them. For example, Jonathan's running a map here. These are items that you find, and you can re-roll them to add mods just like other items. And so everything is customizable with crafting tools within the game.
So you can even, from what I understand is you are using these tokens to go to maps.
Yes.
Where you fight monster stuff, but you can actually modify these tokens
to
make them harder or easier, or give you different rewards.
Yeah, and the same crafting things that work on your items also work on the maps. So you can, it's the same pool of wealth that you're using to craft both.
Interesting. That's very cool.
The map properties always make the map harder while also increasing the rewards. So you never make the game easier for yourself. You choose to opt in for additional difficulty in return for extra rewards. So players try to push themselves as hard as they can.
Interesting. Very cool. I see that with the new expansion, War for Atlas, by the way. I forgot what it's called. You're into adding something called the Abyss League. Tell me about what that is.
So the way that challenge leagues work, and the Abyss is a challenge league, is every 13 to 16 weeks or so we release, it's like a new economy or a fresh server. A bit like a Diablo season, for example. And so people can start fresh characters in this league, it's a fresh economy, and everyone wants to race to the top. Now, we always apply a theme and special gameplay rules, and the Abyss one is one where we've been careful not to show off too much of it because we're careful not to show off too much of the Abyss League because it's a bit of a surprise for when the game comes out. But we've got a little teaser of it here where you get these abysses that arc off into the distance, and then these holes to the underworld come out. Monsters climb out, you have a difficult fight, and if you can complete it in time, you get the ability for it to chain further, and you get more monsters, harder and harder fights. They're really ripping Jonathan to pieces
So it's
here.
almost like a mix between like a public event in like a Destiny, but also like, oh my god, like a horde mode in like a first-person shooter.
And this crops up randomly every like 15 minutes or so while you're playing in that particular league. So it's like an additional property which makes the game different while you're playing in it. And we encourage people to play in these challenge leagues because it's a fresh start under slightly different game rules. And honestly, there's been a bit of inflation going on with the way that we're running these challenge leagues. They're becoming basically their own mini expansions unto themselves. Like the Abyss League has bosses and areas and all sorts of crazy itemization and stuff going on in that league.
So in a game like Diablo 3, I was really into the seasons for a long time because it was like a cool, fun thing to like re-roll a character. Like, I'm gonna be an ice.
Top 10 most played MMORPGs in 2016 video. It was only around 6 minutes long, but went on to gain well over 750,000 views, thousands of comments and likes, and it became the fourth most popular video overall on our entire channel. Now, I recently asked the community what top 10 video they wanted next, and over 2,200 different users voted. 66% requested a top 10 most populated MMORPGs in 2018 video, meaning the 10 most populated MMORPGs going into 2018 for people that actually want to invest time into. Because, let's be frank here, nobody wants to invest time into a dead MMORPG, right? Now, let me preface this video by saying two different things. Number one, these games are not listed in any specific order, but they are the top 10 MMORPGs with the most active populations nevertheless. Number two, most MMORPGs and their developers no longer really report accurate population numbers. Therefore, these are ascertained through various different means. Now, let's take a quick look at which games are currently still active. When The Elder Scrolls Online launched, people thought it'd be the next greatest MMORPG. People figured it'd be like an online Skyrim game and were met with a swift punch to the gonads when they realized it wasn't. That, combined with bugs, had ESO met with an almost untimely end. People didn't give up on it though, and the team behind ESO worked hard to bring the game back from the edge of the cliff. The Elder Scrolls Online went on to grow larger and larger, recently releasing their Morrowind expansion, which proved to be a huge success. Going by Steam, almost 200,000 players played ESO in the last 2 weeks alone. According to ZeniMax, the team behind ESO, the console population is a little bit larger than the PC player base, meaning we're looking at least another 200,000 or more players on console. Then we have users that play the game through the standalone launcher. This would likely bring the population numbers up for the game over a 1 month period to a significant amount over 500,000. Guild Wars 2 launched to critical success, people finding its storytelling and combat to be both compelling and entertaining to experience. However, its population declined due to people realizing it was actually quite different to the original Guild Wars game and other games coming out at the same time. This forced ArenaNet to opt for a free-to-play model to continue growing, and since going free-to-play, the game's numbers have soared. Now, there are still a fair amount of people that dislike Guild Wars 2 because it's different to the original, but the game is great fun to play and is actually a much more modern take on the MMORPG genre. Now, with the recent Path of Fire expansion coming out for Guild Wars 2, you'd expect quite a large amount of sales, akin to ESO and Final Fantasy XIV's. However, that wasn't really the case. ArenaNet never gave numbers on the actual number of units sold for Path of Fire, and people didn't really notice like too large a boost to the overall player base as opposed to when Heart of Thorns launched. But Guild Wars 2 is free to play until expansion content, so I mean, you can expect new players to pop in and out regularly to try the game out. Numbers are unknown, unfortunately, but there are at least over 100,000 players based off of estimated sales and previous estimated numbers before Path of Fire's release. Black Desert Online was so hyped that naturally it launched to ridiculous numbers. Over time, those numbers did dwindle, and the complaints that the game had become pay-to-win didn't really do it any favors. However, with the constant addition of new classes combined with the unrivaled action combat and breathtaking graphics, the game just kept growing. Recently, BDO also launched on Steam, which assisted in boosting its sales and player base further. General numbers for Black Desert are known. As of December 2017, the game has sold almost 5 million copies. 830,000 of those were through Steam, and on Steam there were well over 100,000 active players in the last 2 weeks alone. If you do the math and apply a similar purchase to active ratio to the non-Steam players, you likely end up with over 500,000 players over the last month. Similar to, but likely still less than ESO. EVE Online is one of the only sci-fi MMORPGs out there outside of Star Wars: The Old Republic and Star Trek Online. It is also by far one of the most popular sci-fi MMORPG on the market, having launched and remained as a pay-to-play MMORPG for many years. However, with better games out there, EVE saw an ever-increasing decline in population, prompting them to go the same route as Guild Wars 2 and make the game free-to-play. This upset a lot of players, but also gave new opportunities to players who couldn't play due to the paid model. After going free-to-play, EVE saw a substantial boost in population numbers. Over the last 2 weeks alone, there have been over 80,000 players playing EVE just through Steam. However, outside numbers are not revealed. Numbers before going free-to-play were not over 100,000, so with the addition of active Steam players over the last month, we're likely looking at around 150,000 or more active players over a month-long period, maybe a bit less. Blade and Soul, like Black Desert Online, came at a time when Eastern MMORPGs were not as hated as they are presently. As such, it launched to quite a good reception. Granted, not as good as BDO's, but still, for a free-to-play MMORPG, it launched fairly well. At the beginning of 2017, Blade and Soul was played by 45,000 players. Prior to the release of its latest expansion, Dawn of the Lost Continent, Blade and Soul was sitting at around 40,000 or so active players. Since the expansion, however, with all the people they reached out to, you can likely expect that to see a large bump, even if only temporarily, to well over 50,000 active players or more. I do feel like, though, if Blade and Soul actually wants to continue growing, they should probably take a note out of what Black Desert and Terra did and launch onto Steam. Secret World Legends launched years ago as a pay-to-play MMORPG and has remained as such up until recently, where they buckled under the pressure of a dying game and relaunched as a free-to-play MMORPG. Like Guild Wars 2, it is one of the most story-centric MMORPG available and a very fun game overall. However, it is definitely on the lower side of the popularity spectrum, boasting only around 15,000 active players on Steam over the last 2 weeks, totaling around 20,000 over the month. But the Steam numbers are decidedly lower than the player base that actually plays through the official launcher, as most of the players played the game without Steam all this time. So while the game may not have a huge population, you can be sure that there are at least around 40 to 50,000 active players over the course of the month. Maybe that's a little generous, I don't know. We don't really have specific numbers for the game anymore. Although RuneScape launched many moons ago, the game has gone through multiple iterations and remains one of the most popular completely free-to-play MMORPG on the market. Admittedly, there are 2 varying versions of RuneScape that are currently both running simultaneously, both old-school RuneScape and the updated version. The combined totals equate to well over 100,000 active players, which is fairly insane for a free-to-play MMORPG, and even crazier given when RuneScape was originally released, which was like at least 30, maybe even 50 years ago. Although the population has dipped somewhat over the course of 2017, with updates slated for 2018, RuneScape players should expect to see a familiar spike back up in the future. I know, there are going to be a ton of you guys that complain that Terra is dead, but Terra launched all the way back in 2012 and was met with quite a bit of praise. Well, initially, anyway. The game retained people's attention with its graphical style and combat until people found out that there wasn't really a whole lot to do in the game after actually hitting endgame. So, the game began to decline, forcing en masse the team behind Terra to adopt a free-to-play model to attempt to survive, and it did. Terra, as of 2017, has had over 65,000 players played over the last 2 weeks alone, only through Steam, not counting people who still play and launch it through the official launcher, which I do admit I still do myself. So, with the recent release of the Ellen Gunner and the upcoming release of new classes and content on the horizon, Terra has managed to boost the player base all the way back to well over 100,000 over just the last month's period alone. Final Fantasy XIV is probably one of the biggest success stories of all time when it comes to MMORPGs, and also simultaneously one of the largest failures. Not only did it actually physically die upon release, being touted as the worst MMORPG to have ever actually been released, its player base dwindled down to a single-digit thousands, which is insane considering its popularity today. Now, official active numbers are not 100% known, but going by Steam players, which total almost 70,000 active in the last 2 weeks, the Final Fantasy XIV census, which puts active players at around 700,000, and the Lodestone research putting players at around 300,000 to 400,000, we are definitely capable of guesstimating that over at least a single month period, there have been well over 500,000 active players playing Final Fantasy XIV. This is likely, however, due to the recent Stormblood expansion, much like ESO and Guild Wars 2. I know you all knew this was going to be here. I mean, why wouldn't it? Even now, it is the most populated MMORPG on the market. And no, Final Fantasy XIV and the Elder Scrolls Online do not have more players than WoW, not even close. When they report their numbers, they report total accounts, not total active accounts. I don't know how many times I've had to defend this point. It seems like every day people seem to think that WoW is less popular than Final Fantasy XIV and ESO. And I'm telling you, I love both of those games. I have an active subscription to Final Fantasy XIV and WoW. And I can tell you, Final Fantasy XIV does not have more players. Yeesh. Now, we know that in Warlords of Draenor, the population dropped from 10 million subscribers all the way down to 5.6 million. That was claimed to be World of Warcraft's lowest population point of all time after release. With the release of Legion, WoW had its subscriber base boosted to numbers that hadn't been seen since Wrath of the Lich King. Well over 10.1 million active subscribers as reported by Blizzard themselves. Now, some people have claimed that there were over 12 million at one point based off of the amount of units sold for Legion, but we cannot know for certain. However, what we do know is that Legion is still more actively played than Warlords of Draenor was, and has been much better received. Since it had a larger player pool and is still more actively played, we can assume that at the very least it is more populated than Warlords of Draenor at its worst. Whether that is 6 million, 7 million, or more remains to be seen, but the fact that there is very likely still over 6 million active players in World of Warcraft makes it by far the most actively played MMORPG to this day. This does not count total active accounts, because WoW would probably have significantly more than Final Fantasy XIV has. Now, finally, with the release information of Battle for Azeroth and Classic servers, World of Warcraft could soon see numbers higher than ever before in its entire lifespan. So, with all of this out of the way, I do want to say that just because an MMORPG is more active than another does not make it better. You may or may not like the game and don't necessarily have to play the game just because other people do. However, playing a dead game sucks, which is why this video is being posted. So, go out there, find the MMORPG you want to play out of a selection of games you can still find things to do with people in, and go have some fun. Anyway, that is it for me, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next vid. Later.
Hey guys, it's Super Minecraft Kid here, and I just got Terraria. What is this game? It's a fucking ripoff! Like, look at this! Pickaxe! Pickaxe! Are you fucking kidding me? And a sword, a shitty ass sword. And look at this, jump. It's just like fucking Minecraft, except it's fucking 2D! Why would you? This instantly makes Minecraft better because it's 3D. Why would you want to play something that's 2 fucking D when you can play the same game except better, not a ripoff, and it's 3 fucking D? Also, you know what else is 2 fucking D? Fucking Mario! I hate that fucking game! Why would I want to buy Terraria if I hate Mario? Let's get some fucking wood. Where have I seen this before? Oh yeah! Minecraft! What the fuck is this fucking game? It's fucking awful! What even is the point of this game? In Minecraft, you have to go to the end. But in this game, you have to... Nobody fucking knows. I don't...
Which could suck my dick. Go on, man. GX gang. Oh my god. GX gang. I want you to fuck my wife. Fuck my wife. Come on, bro. I want you to fuck my pussy. I have 81 IQ. Nice fucking pop jam. Am I right, Tyler? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, Tyler? Let's go. Fuck you, Tyler, and your ugly head meat. I would've fucked you, bitch, but she ain't worth my skeet. GX gang, your heart's stuck in diamond and they call you T1. When's the last time you made your girlfriend come? Ever. Bro, you still love me, chat? GX gang, let's go! GGX for life, GGX, we are taking over. GGX for life, GGX for life. For life, GGX, we are taking over. GGX for life, GGX for life. GGX for life, GGX, we are taking over. GGX for life, GGX for life. GGX for life, GGX, we are taking over. GGX am. Ever. Bro, you still love me, Chad? GGX gang. Let's go. GGX for life. GGX, we are taking over. GGX for life. GGX for life. GGX for life. GGX, we are taking over. GGX for life. GGX for life.
Okay, watch. I fucking agree for fuck. That is a great night. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Great night, great night. Fuck. I'm talking way too much. Did you mute my stream? I'm talking way too much. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. It's your boy Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. Asmongold. You can do the work, and then you can get the money for the work, and then give the money to me. Thank you, thank you. What is this dude doing with his money? I don't know, boys. I have 1,283 days / play. I never give up. What the? Sorry, I prefer come. Fuck this dude. I play all day, play every day. I have no regrets. I love this game. I play all day, play every day. I have no regrets. I love this game. I don't feel bad about it at all. What was I gonna do? Imagine what I would be like without WoW. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. It's your boy Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. It's your boy Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. It's your boy Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. It's your boy Asmongold. What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. Asmongold. You can do.
GGX gang.
Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads. Fuck 'em, dude. Country road. I've got a boner. That car. Come here, boy. Gang, gang. Don't ever challenge me again, do you understand me? Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home.
friends are
Black.
Push me to the edge. All my friends are
Black.
Push me to the edge.
Dodge Charger.
And that's alright. Inside all.
Nig mode.
That's how then you ride a sled down. I just want that.
KFC. Hi Keisha.
Yeah, I'm mad. Her really her man now. Everybody got the same.
Scuffed J's.
All the way that I chat down. Stacking my
Chicken.
all the way to the top. All the way to my
Chicken.
ballin' over. Every time that you leave your
Grape soda.
girlfriend call me like come on over. I don't really care if you cry. I don't really shouldn't ever lie. Should've saw the way she looked me in my eyes. She said, baby, I am not afraid to die. Push me to the edge. All my friends are
Black.
Push me to the edge. All my friends are
Black.
Push me to the edge. All my friends are
Black.
Push me to the edge.
How do I loosen this? How do I
Okay. Here we go! Sing along with me, boys. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Here we go! Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, going like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, to West Virginia, Mountain Mama, country road. Take me home, country roads. My bad, sorry. Life memories gathered round her, miner's rain, stranger to blue waters, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine. Hey! Roads, take me home to the place I belong, to West Virginia, Mountain Mama, country roads, take me home. I hear the voice in the miner's house. She calls me, really reminds me. Hey, say it with a voice.
Never lucky. Huh?
Thank you so much, man.
Are you crying?
Yeah, I'm just thankful, man. Thank you.
Oh, he's so drunk. Oh, come here, big guy. Oh, you're okay, man.
Thanks for just letting me
Oh.
be at your house and everything, man.
Yeah, of course, dude. Okay. All right.
You drink a lot, Greek?
Huh?
You drink a lot, man.
Yeah, too much. I'm just thankful for you, Nick, and the train wrecks and everybody, and Kizzy
Oh.
and everybody.
Very thankful. So sweet.
Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, no problem, man. We like having you here. You get some sleep, get some water.
Yeah, I'm gonna just rest here for a bit.
Okay.
I feel safe there.
Never lucky.
Thanks, Ella.
Huh?
Thank you so much, man.
Are you crying?
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
just thankful, man. Thank you.
Oh, he's so drunk. Oh.
Sellout Sunday. We're going to do it again today. This is going to be a fundraiser. We're going to have fun, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't suck. It's going to be bad, and your friendly DreamHack stage crew is going to make it worse. So $1 can save one child. So 1 second of every one of these videos saves a kid. Clap. All right, let's get it started.
Do you like your new toy?
Ah, who did that? Thanks for that.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
This is the greatest day of my life!
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land.
Oh my god. Oh no. God.
Victory screech!
Nice job, nice
Ah,
job.
yeah. Good job, crowd.
Oh, Jesus.
My God.
Hello?
Oh, I know this. This is good. Watch.
Oh my God. I didn't see that coming.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird! It's a plane!
Stupid fucking mistakes, man.
Oh my God, no.
No.
Okay.
I got a new one for you. I like the way that sounds.
walking on fire. My debt is in pay. I'll take myself higher, so I'm feeling okay. Look at me now, I'm done with the chase. I taught myself how, now I'm feeling okay. I taught myself how, now I'm feeling okay. And for no damn reason, I'm riding solo. I'm feeling so low. Break me down, but I won't be in prison. I hold my ground in so low.
Both these top laners have been loving it recently.
Couple of Chinese fans there rooting for Tempt and Ignar.
This is another pick that could be contested. The Jace priority has been up and down recently, but it seems like Crazy says, if I play Jace, Con.
We were actually talking about this matchup before we went live today. It seemed like one of the most one-sided matchups we've ever had in the top lane. Con versus Crazy. What's worse, Con versus Maha or Con versus Crazy? That's the real question.
Well, if Crazy stays away from the Camille, maybe there's a chance for him, but Camille might actually be the top.
Keep me out of a section constantly. I don't want anybody in here. Segundo. Do you understand me, mods? I will not ask you again. That Sheffy's in the chat, boys. Right, so what am I? How am I going to read chat? I left my phone upstairs. Both my phones, in fact. So I guess I can make chat widescreen over here. I guess I could put chat here. And make it, like, big. I don't know how to make chat big, like. Just put it over here, I guess. Put this over here. Keep me out of a section constantly. I don't want any...
What a deserved walkout. The deafening cheers of tens of thousands of cheering Chinese fans. Samsung Galaxy, the only team to ever dethrone SKT at Worlds. They do it on the biggest stage the league has ever seen.
And they do it in the biggest way. 3-0 versus SK Telecom. You could see the emotion on the Samsung Galaxy players' faces. That is an entire year waiting to get back to this moment, waiting for the rematch, and they made it count.
Every single player talked about revenge against SKT, and they got it. Faker is destroyed.
And now it's relief on the side of Samsung, anguish on the side of SKT. Coma and Faker have won every single Worlds they attended until today.
Do
Oh
what?
my God,
do
bro, you
what?
always
Do
do
what?
this.
What do I do? Do what?
You annoying, bro.
Okay, nigga, so are you.
Always complaining over the littlest stuff.
I'm
bro.
always complaining? Okay.
I don't care. I'm over it.
Okay, be over it.
I am over it. Okay, good. It's done. It is. All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm going home.
Okay, I'm going home.
No, you already at home. It don't work like that.
I'm going home.
No, I'm going home. I say it.
No,
You don't say
okay, okay, I say it now. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. I am going home.
なるほど。吹かずとも消えゆく弱々しい残り火、抗っているのか。役目を全うするまで絶えぬよう必死で抗っているのか。醜い。
限界だって感じたら思い出せ。
象徴としてだけではない。お師匠が私にしてくれたように、私も彼を育てるまでは、それまでは、そこまで醜く抗っていたとは、まだ誤算だった。まだ死ねんだな。正面からはまず有効弾にならん。今日つくしかねえ。最後の一振り、右腕のパワーを左腕に、右腕をおとりに使った。だがらしくない小細工だ。誰かの影響かな。浅い。そりゃ腰が入ってなかったからな。
何人もの人がその力を次へと託してきたんだよ。みんなのためになりますようにと、一つの希望となりますようにと。次はお前の番だ。頑張ろうな、年成。
さらばだ、オール・フォー・ワン。ユナイテッド・ステイアーツ・オブ・さらばだ、ワン・フォー・オール。
That's a little much.
You want to spot me?
Oh, spot me.
You're supposed to be able to lift more if you make noise.
Okay. That's the methodology.
Sure.
Buddy, glad you can make it. Just a fair bit of warning. My friends are a little, should I say, eccentric?
To a house full of wild adventures.
Trust me, I can turn this party into an orgy once I work my magic.
All this talk about sex is getting me all hot and bothered.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's turn this party into more of a party.
Where everyone has a story to share.
Well,
Hello everyone and welcome back to House Party. Today guys, we're gonna finish the last two, do the whole phone situation, and I'm gonna find out what I gotta do to actually find the diary, and then from there I think we have two choices. So I'll save the game and we'll try them both. You can either take Madison's side or you can take Ashley's. And you may as well just ask her about it. Found my phone again. Stop it, stop doing that. All right, help me play a prank on my sister and her. Dear parent, your child is watching something.
What? What? What do you... What in the world? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. We're back at the house. Shut the fuck up. God damn. We're back with the house party madness. If you weren't here last time, we got the shirt off of Ashley, and yep, now we're gonna go wash them and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's see. So let's talk to
教えてよ教えてよその仕組みを僕の中に誰がいるの壊れた壊れたよこの世界で君が笑う何も見えずに壊れた僕なんてさ息を夜に閉じ込められた子は無表情に息を止めただってどうしようもないことばかりじゃないか得られない世界で溺れている俺に沈む影どらいまでもこれが現実
But I know someday I'll make it out of hell, even if it takes all night. Oh, 100 years need a place to hide, but I can't find one that wanna feel alive outside. I can't find my fear. Isn't it lovely? But I know someday I'll make it out of hell, even if it takes all night. Oh, 100 years need a place to hide, but I can't find one that wanna feel alive outside. I can't find my fear. Isn't it lovely? But I know someday 化した鼓動を静寂に聞かせていく焦燥感をかけしよりこの手の伝う一本の孤独は人の色が汗たままでくだらない言葉と正体不明の運命が消えたナイフにをつけてスポッタケレを戦場に生き裂いてゆく高さを叫ぶに
列力しセグンダエタパ列力しセグンダエタパ列力しセグンダエタパ列力しセグンダエタパ列力しセグンダエタパ列力しセグンダエタパ
I've never posted here before or felt compelled to tell anyone my story. I came across the Three Kings on the front page of Reddit last night and thought I would give it a try, especially after reading the post that it could be explained by a fun experiment. Then went on to explain the face in the mirror.
What I'm about to share with you today is one of the many relatively safe ways in which you can access, not quite enter, a place that I call the shadow side. And its effectiveness depends on how serious you take me. Your mileage may vary, but refer to the title. I won't tell you that you shouldn't be afraid of the shadow side. Chances are you're already seen it after all, and merely think it's just a recurring dream. I'll tell you there's no need to be ignorantly afraid of it, though. There is a difference. Ignorance fuels fear, and fear can give that place a lot of juice to run on. You have to be big on preparation if you want to try this. It's like skydiving. If getting it right on your first try is not something that you're good at, then this isn't for you. If you do drugs or alcohol the night of the event, you're going to have a bad time. If you're going through some serious issues in your life and you're not feeling mentally or spiritually stable, or if you're doing this just to escape, you're going to have a bad time. And if you don't follow my instructions, particularly the multiple backups that I give you, which, trust me, are there for a reason, you're going to have a really bad time. The name of the game is the Three Kings, by the way. Ingredients. A very large, empty, quiet room, preferably without windows. If windows exist, you need to be able to cover them and ensure total darkness. Basements usually work well, if they're roomy enough. A pack of candles. You'll only use one, if all goes well, and a lighter. A bucket of water and a mug. A fan. 2 large mirrors, like the ones on your dresser. Don't worry. They won't be harmed. If they are, it'd be the least of your concerns. 3 chairs. An alarm clock. An active cell phone. Don't forget to charge the goddamn battery. A loved one willing to follow rules and go along with all this madness. A small toy or dear object from your childhood. Start setup around 11 p.m. Place 1 chair in the center of the room, facing north. This is important. Place the other 2 chairs exactly to the left and right, facing your throne. The distance between your throne and that of your queen and the fool should be about the length of your arm to each side, more or less. Place the 2 large mirrors on the queen and fool chairs, left and right of you, facing you and each other. If you sit on your throne facing straight ahead, north, you should be able to perceive your own reflection in each of the 2 mirrors without actually having to turn your head nor your eyes to do so. If you see your own reflection in the corner of your eye, just barely there, then you've done it right. Place the bucket of water and the mug in front of you, just barely out of reach. Place the fan behind you. Turn it on. Do not set it to maximum power. Medium or low is usually enough. Leave it on. Turn off the lights. Leave the door open and go to your bedroom. Set the candles by the side of the bed next to your lighter, your alarm clock, and your cell phone. Leave it charging. Set your alarm clock to 3:30 a.m. Turn off the lights and sleep while holding your power object. Get some rest. Wake up at 3:30 a.m. with your alarm clock. Turn it off, but don't turn on the light. You have exactly 3 minutes to light your candle, grab your cell phone, and make your way to the dark room to sit in your throne. You should be seated by 3:33 a.m. Don't forget your power object. Check for potential red flags. If your cell phone didn't charge for whatever reason, abort that mission. If the alarm didn't go off at exactly 3:30 a.m., abort the mission. If you find the dark room door closed, remember, you left it open. Abort the mission. If the fan is turned off, you left it on. Abort the mission. Side note, if you have to abort the mission due to any of the above reasons, leave the house with your loved one. Go to a hotel or something. There's no need to run. You have time to grab a jacket and your keys and what have you, but leave. After 6 a.m., the coast should be clear. If all is going as planned, you can proceed and take your throne. Do not look directly at either of the two mirrors beside you. Do not let the candle go out. The fan is behind you. You must protect the candle with your body, which is standing in between. There's a reason for this, so you'll soon see. Look straight ahead at the darkness, not at the candle, not at the mirrors, just straight ahead. Eagle-eyed readers surely notice that I didn't say during setup which chair was queen and which was fool. That's because it's your job to find out. And from their point of view, you are either their queen or their fool. Hence, 3 kings. I won't spoil what happens next. Suffice to say, you won't be alone. And if you have questions, you'll get answers. Sometimes in the form of new questions, but hey, that's the story of humanity. Just stay put. Try not to move. Again, do not look directly at the mirrors, nor the candle, just straight ahead. Trust me, don't chicken out either. You need to wait until 4:34. By 4:34, it's all over. It's okay to tremble a little, but just try not to. Not because it affects the ritual or anything. It's just a pussy thing to do while in polite company. Did I mention not to let the candle go out? That's what the fan is for. You're protecting the candle with your body, but if your body were to be suddenly moved, then the fan would turn off the candle. That's backup number 1. Your loved one is backup number 2. At 4:34, she or he has to come into the room and call your name. If that won't work, she has to call your cell phone. If that won't work, she has the glass of water and the bucket. She can't touch you, though. That's a newbie's mistake. Backup number 3 is your item of power. The toy, or locket, or whatever object of strength you brought along for the ride. It'll show you the way if shit hits the fan. Multiple backups. You gotta be like a Boy Scout if you do these things. If you half-ass it all the way so that it won't work. Worst you can do is take it seriously enough for it to work, and not seriously enough to be prepared for the consequences. If in doubt, refer to title.